which is hard to get to. But all it takes is one person. We don't care if the rest of us sleep. As long as one person is cleaning nonstop, the rest of us will be fine. You'll be fine. I tell you a story of my daughter. She was 7 years old. She's 32 now, so she was 7 when she first took the class. And she slept through the whole thing. She was snoring away. I have to kind of gently pinch it like that, but she slept through the whole thing. And so one day we were home, and I was about to get in the swimming pool. So I had, going like just about, and she said, 7. She said, Dad, remember what that old lady said? I'm going, what old lady? Dad, remember what that old lady said? And I said, what did the old lady say? And she said, the old lady said, before you get into any body of water, you mentally put in an Alka-Seltzer pill. Just mentally put it in. Dad, I'm going to do it for you this time, but you're on your own the next time. So the story is, even when you're sleeping, you're going to get it. So my daughter was sleeping when Morna was teaching this course. And she just slept. Thank God she slept. She didn't have any questions, Yeah. And the other thing is, you can take this course as an absentee. If you do, we will have no questions. Yeah. So let's go over it again. So in the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing. You need to know this. Nothing. No wars, no thinking, no coping, no managing, no intention, no goals, no nothing, 0, 0, 0, 0, and this is where we want to go. We want to go back to the origin. This is the origin of your being. 0. And so I'm going to take the mind and turn it around sideways now, so you get to see the mind sideways. So here's the mind sideways. And this is 0. So I've taken the board and put it this way. So this is 0. This is you. I want you to be clear. You as 0 do nothing. Can we say that again? You as 0 just is. Like this. And then when God goes, hello, you go. Now, when the data plays call memory, you go, But when the data plays, so I want you to know, data is king. Data is queen. Data governs. You are not in charge. When the data plays, you follow. So I'm going to give you a reference if you want to take a look at it, called User Illusion. Joe Vitale? Where's Joe? Joe, can you explain the kind of the stuff where we're talking about we don't make decisions, please? So I'm going to ask Joe, but here's a book called The User Illusion. And ultimately, the consensus, the summary of this, the work on consciousness, is you don't decide anything. You don't decide to get sick. You don't decide to get cancer. You don't decide all that. It's decided for you. So maybe Joe can tell us a little bit about it.
I'll try. This is a fantastic book. Can I hold it up for a second? And I do reference it in Zero Limits. So some of you, how many have already read this, The User Illusion? Some of you wouldn't get it. It's absolutely fascinating because it's pointing out that what you think is in control, your conscious mind, your intellect, your personality is not really in control at all. And in fact, there have been some tests, one of them by Benjamin Levitt, who did a test that pointed out that when you have a decision to reach for something, like I'm now reaching for this Pepsi can, that conscious decision actually began on a below conscious level. When it entered my mind, I took credit for it, and I said, oh yeah, I'm going to reach for her can because right now it feels like a great example of how I'm consciously controlling my circumstances, and it seems like this is a good thing to do. All of that took place before it was in my conscious mind. First of all, that's pretty eye-opening in itself. That what you think is your intention. Now, I'm a guy who's taught about the intention. I'm in the movie The Secret talking about the power of intention. I've written books about the power of intention. I now think intentions are old news. I now think intentions are a fool's game, and intentions in many ways are limitations. So first of all, if I have an intention for something, it bubbled up out of something deeper than my conscious mind. If I take credit for it, that's the user illusion. I think I own that. I think, wow, I came up with this wild intention for some business, some product, some book. That wasn't the case at all. It came from something deeper. The real question for me that gets very interesting is, where did it come from? So if an intention, an idea, a thought, actually this is one of my favorite things to do. I ask people to stop for a moment and consider, can you predict what your next thought is going to be? There isn't a single person who can. Those thoughts are just bubbling up. Where are they coming from? If you take credit for them, you've fallen for the illusion. If you sit there and wonder where they're coming from, which is where I think is a good place to be, then you end up wondering, did it come from memory, programs, data, or did it come from the divine inspiration? And at that point, the only thing to do, and believe me, this is all I'm left to do with, is to clean. I'll give an example. When I was going to be on Steve's TV show, we rented a car and Narissa drove because I wanted to relax and be focused and save my energy for the show itself. And as we're driving there, suddenly something bubbled up that said, you should move here. I hadn't even told Narissa this because I kind of put a clamp on it. I said, I don't want to hear that. Moving costs a lot of money. It's a big energy drain. I got a lot of things going on. I don't want to hear this. The last time I was in Maui, I heard the same thing. I spent several of my days here looking at houses, which I could have been at the beach working on my tan. So, driving along, and I was in a pretty meditative space. I was very relaxed. I wasn't doing the driving. I wasn't focused on that. I'd already met Steve. I was comfortable with Steve. So it was just a matter of going over there, doing the song and dance in front of his camera. So the thoughts are bubbling up. If I take credit for the idea, oh, I got this great idea, I should move to Maui and I can open a business here, I could move all of my business here, I could do all kind of wonderful things here and seminars here. User illusion. I didn't have that idea at all. It came from this depth. My question for myself right now is, did that come from inspiration? Or did that come from the program that was thinking Maui is a cool place to live, you know, year-round beautiful weather? I mean, there's all kind of rationale, all kind of logic I could use. So the only way for me to remedy that right now is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Constant clearing till I can say with some sort of degree of certainty that that was an inspiration. That help?
Maybe they want some questions.
Question about that? Yes, he's going to bring a mic to you. This is a wonderful book, by the way, The Use Your Illusion. It is at Amazon. Some bookstores will carry it. The author, I can't pronounce his name, Torrey Tranders, Norrenders. I would just look it up by the title. The User Illusion.
We'll leave it out for you to take a look at it.
David has a question.
I'm David, okay. So I'm getting that inspiration and trash both come from the divine, and I have a choice?
That's an interesting question. You know, one time Dr. Hulen and I were walking, and I was talking to him about the idea that, wow, it just seems like all I have to do in life is pay attention and make a choice between trash and inspiration. And he said, if you're still at a point where you can make a choice, you're not clear. Now that really hit me between the eyes, because what it meant was, if I'm thinking about moving to Maui, not moving to Maui, it means I'm not clear about what was coming through. If I am clean, if I am clear, and inspiration comes, I just do it. I just do it. There is no real choice at that point.
So
Thank you.
Let me answer that question. I'm coming from zero now. This is David, this is you, zero, okay? This is zero. Zero does nothing. That's what zero does. It just is. So let's say I got the mind side. If you've got trash in front of that, in other words, if you got data calling suffering and problems right here, going like that, and this is the divine cannot get through that because that's going against zero and against the divinity. That's what trash will do. It goes counter to zero, okay? So now my friend Joe Vitale is talking, and he decides to be 100% responsible. So he erases the trash, and now there's no opposition. And divinity can flow so that now divinity replicates itself as an idea, as a talent in you. So you have a choice of hanging around with trash, which is old memories in the subconscious. This is old memories in the subconscious. So the subconscious here, like that. So it's sitting on top of the zero. So now you decide to clean it up. You erase the memory. You allow divinity to erase the memory. Now you're back to that pure state, and now divinity can come out. So the inspiration always comes from the divinity, not from trash. Yeah. And the trash is like this. Okay, this is the three cells. This is the conscious mind, subconscious. This is the trash. Stored in the subconscious. That is not inspiration. It's old stuff. That's what Shakespeare called for bemoan. It's going to keep playing again and again unless you decide to ask the divinity to erase it.